It's been nearly 10 years since that grim day, 9/11, a day our children are just learning about. But is this the way to teach them?
We feel as if he just capitalizing on the 10th anniversary of September 11th.
A controversial coloring book depicting that day. Is it right, wrong, or just plain sick?
I'm on a boat tour called The Queen, and there's a man that just threw his son overboard.
A father, many say, went overboard with his actions. That dad is defending himself. What he says really happened, escaping with nothing but the clothes on their backs.
I didn't get the pictures, of our folks and things like that.
The latest on this inferno burning out of control. And how far could you go to save your own life?
It'd be pretty painful, so I'd stop, take a breath or two, and then keep cutting until I finally got it cut off.
Freeing himself, one toe at a time. A story you've got to hear. Your Independent News Network starts right now. Good evening, I'm Ryan Bass in for Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. In just 10 days, America will remember the 10-year anniversary of 9/11 as we count down to one of the most grim days for our country. A coloring book depicting the September 11th attacks is getting a lot of criticism. The book is made in Missouri, but the buzz is stretching far across the country. The coloring book follows the 9/11 terror attacks from beginning to end, finishing with the Navy SEALs shooting Osama bin Laden. The book is made by Really Big Coloring Books Incorporated. Publisher Wayne Bell says the book was created as a result of listening to the public.
We're not making statements. There's no statement attached to this book. This book is based on market research. It's based on what people tell us that they're looking for.
Kids think of coloring books as like fun, something to do as a pastime, something that they like, they enjoy. And that's not, I don't relate that as an enjoyable experience.
To some extent, I think it's sensationalizing.
So what do you think about this coloring book? We'll sound off on our Facebook page. You'll find us at facebook.com/INN News. Firefighters are struggling to get a handle on wildfires burning in Oklahoma and Texas. The fire burning west of Dallas has charred through more than 6,000 acres and destroyed more than 3 dozen homes.
Sick that we didn't get that I didn't get the pictures, of our folks and things like that, and just things like that, that we didn't have time to get.
Hot temperatures and high winds are making it tough for firefighters to try and get a handle on the blaze. And in Oklahoma, a wildfire that destroyed more than 33 homes also claimed a church. This Baptist church in Oklahoma City collapsed after the building caught on fire. No word yet on what sparked the wildfire. Both Texas and Oklahoma have been suffering from a severe drought. Time for the latest on Irene, and the National Guard is bringing much needed supplies to flood-trapped communities in Vermont. Here in Plymouth, Vermont, they're preparing bottled water, packaged meals, and other goods for delivery. The storm destroyed roads and bridges, leaving hundreds of residents stranded. Jack Thurston reports from another Vermont community where a longtime resident says it's the worst storm she's ever seen.
At 93 years old, Jim Trapini has seen a lot of New England storms.
This is worse. Much worse. As my little grandson would say, much worse.
He came to a bridge over the Cold River just south of downtown Rutland, Vermont, to see what Irene left behind. She knocked down the bridge, cutting off traffic through this busy stretch, just one of dozens and dozens of detours in southern Vermont.
There was a stream about 3 feet wide before this happened.
Trapini remembers vividly the Great Flood of 1927 and the hurricane of 1938. He was stunned to see Irene will likely go down as even more damaging than those legendary storms.
I can't believe that this happened.
Meanwhile, take a look at this unbelievable scene in coastal North Carolina. It's a big boat sitting on top of a small dock in Beaufort County. Well, how to get there? The vessel was docked on Board Creek when Irene hit. The 85-foot long boat broke loose and drifted away. After the water receded, the 18-foot wide boat wound up balancing on the railing of a neighboring dock. It's unclear how the owners plan to get it down.
Time for Global News Now. A strong typhoon swirling in the Pacific Ocean is hitting Japan's northern Kanto region with torrential rains. The typhoon is slowly traveling northwest at wind speeds as high as 78 miles per hour. Weather experts are urging residents to be on high alert for high waves, landslides, and flooding. Vancouver police are investigating after a human foot and leg bone were found floating in a shoe near a marina. There have been 11 similar cases of feet washing up in that region since 2007. A 12th was determined to be a hoax. Police don't suspect foul play in any of the cases. It's believed the feet detached naturally from dead people in the water. They were not cut off. Armed Libyan rebels are gathering near Muammar Gaddafi's hometown. The National Transitional Council says it's sure the leader's rule is about to collapse. The opposition has given the people there until Saturday to surrender or face attack. One of Gaddafi's sons says the rebels will face an army of 20,000 fighters who are ready, willing, and able to defend the loyalist stronghold where his father was born. And that's your Global News Now.
No U.S. troops were killed in Iraq during the month of August. That's a first since the U.S. invasion on the country in 2003. A total of 4,464 American troops have died in Iraq, including 56 killed after the U.S. declared war and an end to the fighting a year ago. An incredible story now, one of a Colorado man's extreme measures to save his own life. Nearly 2 weeks ago, John Hutt's foot was pinned by a logging machine, crushing his toes. Now, he had a cell phone, but he didn't have any service. He feared it would take hours for someone to find him, so he took a 3-inch knife, cut through his boot and socks, then went for his toes. Once he was free, he gathered his toes, drove his truck until he got service to call 911.
My insurance agent, he asked me why I called an ambulance. He said I should have called a tow truck.
Now, the man did lose his toes, but it looks like he didn't lose his sense of humor. A Southern California father says he did nothing wrong when he tossed his son into the Pacific Ocean during a cruise.
You threw your son off a boat. Were you trying to kill him?
Yeah, I was trying to kill my son. No, of course I was not trying to kill him. We were playing in the shallows.
Police aren't buying it. Sloan Briles is charged with child endearment after investigators say he flung his 7-year-old son off a sightseeing boat. Police say there were 80 witnesses on board the Pavilion Queen who say the 35-year-old hit his son several times before threatening to throw him overboard if he didn't stop crying. Police do say Briles was drunk. Next, Obama versus Boehner, their latest fight, and who came out victorious. Plus, Washington, D.C. is a big loser when it comes to safe driving. On the flip side, what city is the best in the country? And one of the best female tennis players in the world has to drop out. What illness is keeping her off the court? That's all coming up on INN.